Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. As always, in this video we have some more stories for you, and it's creeping closer to Halloween, isn't it? I had some plans of things I wanted to do for the Halloween season kind of thing, but due to semi-lockdowns and you can't really go anywhere and all that stuff, that kind of didn't really happen, but we'll try to figure something out. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed these stories, and if you do, then you can like and subscribe and share the video and comment and all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. This happened one night in January, right after New Year's. I was leaving Illinois from my home in Pennsylvania. I was there visiting the kinfolk for the holidays. It's a 15 to 16 hour drive, and I didn't leave till late. I planned on stopping at a motel or something like that. But about 7 hours in, the urge to sleep gets really strong. So I pull into a small roadside stop. I go to check in and realize that I left my wallet back in Illinois. And I think, oh shit, god damn it. The lady behind the counter says there's an old campground up the road. Says to be careful though, because nobody goes up there, but she's heard some stories. And I ask her, well, what kind of stories? Local legends, mostly I think it's just meth heads. And I agreed with her, since I'm still in the Bible Belt at this point and Middle America has a bad meth issue. So I take her instructions and I go to the campground. It was a pretty warm winter in the area, so there's only a little snow on the ground, so the going isn't too bad on the dirt road to get in. I find the check-in office, and the lady wasn't kidding when she said the place didn't get much use. Building's windows are all either gone or boarded up. But I decided to park behind just in case cops showed up, you know what I mean? Already feeling pretty sketched out by the situation, I decide to risk getting my concealed carry gun out of the spare tire area and load it. And I keep the grip of it under the back of the driver's seat since I'm going to be sleeping in the back seat. I take out my mag light and put it on the seat next to me and grab my blanket and pillow and lay across the back seat, facing toward the window that looks out into the woods. I leave the windows cracked so I don't die or something. I fall into fitful sleep. I wake up maybe 2 hours later with this god-awful smell in the air. It smells like a mix of roadkill, vomit, and dookies. And I'm thinking, oh god, I'm gonna puke right here. It's a big clearing and it's a pretty clear night, so I notice something standing at the far end of the campground, and I think maybe it's one of the tweakers that the lady mentioned at the desk. But the smell must be coming from him. I can't think of where else it would come from. So I grab the mag light and shine it out to this guy. The thing suddenly stands the rest of the way up, and it's probably 8 feet tall. It's too far out for me to make out any real details though. I grab my pistol and I get ready. I can't shit my pants though, due to my sheer axe-clenching terror. This thing makes this horrible half squeal, half bark, kind of barfing noise that seems to trundle into a weird laugh. It twitches around and then bounces off into the woods, and I think, oh shit, what the hell was that? Oh my god. I slowly reach for the door handle, and right as I do, boom, there's a large thud on my roof, and then boom, 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 and I think, oh my god, don't let me die tonight, I don't want to die. I open the door and rocket out. I stumble and fall over. I shin the maglite at my car and aim my pistol. I can't see shit, Captain. But I notice that nothing is on my roof at all. But suddenly the smell is right on top of me, worse than it ever has been before. I jump up, almost about ready to piss myself. I swing the light around and my gun around, and I stop dead. The thing is like 3 inches from me, leaned down. It has no face. It's just big and ragged rip that might be a grin or a grimace or just a hole. I don't know what it is. It makes that horrible gurgling barf thing, and I probably shouted or tried to sound badass, but it probably came out really girly. I shut my eyes tight, pull the trigger until the gun clicks empty. All I can smell is burnt powder. I slowly open my eyes. The thing's gone, but there's a lot of spent shells on the ground. I'm also pretty sure I peed myself a little. I don't even want to see where it went. I just hear angry screeching in the woods. I jump in my car and speed off. I almost crash and hear that noise the whole way until I make it to the highway. I don't stop for anything until I hit the Pennsylvania border, and even only then I just stop at a gas station bathroom to check my pants and maybe get a candy bar or something. I've never been so scared in all my entire life. I honestly thought I was going to bite the big burrito that night. So what did you think of that story? Was it real, or do you think it was fake? Or do you think it was somewhere in between? Because fear can make people see things differently than how they really are. It seems that Victoria and pretty much the eastern states of Australia are Yowie country. They always do that weird yowling, screaming stuff, and they like to check out campsites and other dumb stuff like that. So I have a Yowie story. So I was 19 when this happened, and I was doing this like road trip-ish thing with a friend, and we're just driving on a flatbed with a car on the back because it's my friend's sister's car. And of course, we are absolutely better than FedEx. So we're driving down some bum-ass road and it's getting late, so I decide to pull over to sleep. I decide to climb into his sister's car to sleep so we each can have a car to sleep in. More room, more space, and all that kind of stuff. Hours later, I get woken up by the awful noise of gurgled screaming sounds coming from far off somewhere. I think, what the hell is that? I'm trying to sleep. So I make sure the doors are locked and I text my friend who responds, but we decide to just go back to sleep because we both do believe in Yowies and we just don't want anything to do with that. So we just decide to ignore it. So I go back to sleep and I wake up for some reason and check my watch. It's 2:43 a.m. And while I'm laying there, I hear a sound coming from the back of the car. I sit up from where I am, curled up across the back seat, and I wait for my eyes to adjust to the darkness, and holy shit, something is on the back of the flatbed outside the car, hanging onto it. I'm suddenly very afraid. This thing is big and dark colored. It's really dark, but I don't know, it just looks this way. I grab my trusty dolphin torch and I shine that shit out the window. And I think that I am an idiot after doing that. It's a monster. Oh my god, why did I do this? It had this matted fur with burrs and stuff all caught in it. It looked like dirt rubbed in there too, and there may be some like moss or something growing off of it. And I'm thinking, what the hell is this? There's a big hand that's gripping the side of the flatbed. The fingers are huge and gnarled, curling over the edge, and the eyes are doing that weird shiny thing that cats do. And I'm thinking, what the F? So my friend's light comes on from the truck, shining back at us. I hear his window go down. I begin screaming as I realize that it's hauling itself up onto the flatbed. I can hear the sound of the window going back up with a whir. And I think, wow, this thing is really tall. My friend starts the truck and rips away from the thing and lets go. We drive for ages until we reach a servo. I pull over so I can change my pants and get back in the passenger seat of the truck. It was a terrifying experience. So this is a story that was sent in to me by a viewer, so thank you to Riggs S for sending in this story from the Oregon wilderness. So this happened back when I lived in Oregon. I finally finished finals for university and decided to take a solo camping trip into the woods. I wanted to make this a good one and decided to do a little backpacking type trip. I drove my truck to a trailhead and set off deep into the forest as to avoid human interaction and just be at one with nature. I got myself to an unnamed lake and managed to actually get a fish, and I cooked it for dinner. The night was going well and I set up my tent to catch some rest. So the next day was going good as I set off to camp by this one mountain when I came across a clearing. A random deer carcass laid there. I thought it was the victim of a bear and just went along the trail, but what was weird was that it had not looked like it was killed for food. The only thing gone were its eyes, hollowed out and missing its tongue. As I had my fire going that night, reading my book, I thought I heard something in the woods rustling some branches. Thinking it was an animal, I slowly closed my book and listened. Nothing. I thought it could have been some animal critter moving around, but nothing too serious. That night, though, when I was hearing the normal creatures of the night, I heard some sort of distant moaning, like a moan you'd hear someone make when their stomach aches, but it sounded kinda distorted. I thought it just must be tired and that it was some kind of injured deer or something. The following evening, I was taking photos of the sunset by this other lake, since the general area I was in had a couple of lakes nearby. I didn't realize how fast it got dark because I was just editing my pictures. I was putting my camera away using my headlamp when I heard that same moaning groan again. I quickly turned my light off. Luckily, my camera was already stowed away when I saw something moving behind a tree. I crouched as to not be seen, and saw what I still can't explain to this day. It was skinny. It had a roundish but triangular-shaped head, almost like a cone. It was hunched over and scratching at something on a tree. I immediately froze, like, what the hell is this thing? I didn't know what to do, but I knew that I had to get away from this thing. Something inside me just knew I wasn't meant to see this thing, and I slowly tried to back away. But I stepped on a branch that broke and the creature looked right in my direction. I'm not sure if it could see me because of the dark, but I felt its eyes on me. It just smiled at me with jagged sharp teeth and opened its mouth, making the loudest noise I've ever heard. It sounded like if someone threw gravel into a wood chipper and just bent its body in half, sideways, and jumped into the lake. I ran in the opposite direction for so long that I didn't plan to stick around. It took me 3 days to get back to my truck, and I felt eyes on me the entire time back. I was so relieved to be back in my truck and sped out of there as fast as I could. What was even weirder was one of the nights that I spent out there hitting back to my truck. I thought I heard the same groan, but I also heard my name in a distorted voice. So thank you to Riggs S. for sending in that story about the Oregon wilderness. So I live in Australia, and I've lived in the bush for most of my life until just recently. So this happened about 2 years ago when a few friends and I were just chilling at this trail that goes into a very steep gully, and it was at nighttime. So we're just sitting in my car, we're just listening to music and quietly talking. And we have all the windows down, we're breathing in that warm summer air, but we keep hearing this small rustling over in the shrubs just a few meters away. The friend in the passenger seat asks if we can hear the rustling as well, and I say, yeah, it's probably just a wombat or a fox or something like that, and I joke and say, unless it's a yowie. We all chuckle, and then my friend goes on to say that, well, if it's a yowie, it better not screw with us because I'll friggin' kill it and its family. We're all clearly joking, and we all laugh at him just being a dick and all that stuff, and we're just screwing with him. But we keep talking for a little while, but I noticed that there's now no birds chirping or crickets or any noise for that fact that you'd hear, especially in the summertime in Australia. And suddenly I get this chill, like this kind of feeling that something's watching me, and it kind of engages like that primitive survival mode, like your fight or flight sense kicks in, and I heard something big moving toward us. And I think, oh, flight it is. So I start my car and I slam it in gear. And we're just about to get the hell out of there when something big smacks the back of my car. I end up speeding all the way to the nearest car park that was well lit, and we are all freaking out. I get out and inspect the damage, and there's this huge scratch in the back of my car. I tell my friends after that about how the Aboriginals that I used to be friends with back in the day said that you have to have respect for the Yowie, if it even was that. So, fast forward a week from there, we decide to go back there and apologize just to be respectful. We go to a clearing and sit down and begin talking to whatever is out there. We're saying how sorry we were for disrespecting them, their land, and making threats and all that stuff. So we leave them some fruit as a peace offering and tell them that we'll be back in a few days. So once again, fast forward to a few days after this, we go back at just before sunset and we go even deeper into the gully this time. The sun is starting to set now and we are about halfway back down the track. We're talking quietly between each other, and all of a sudden this god-awful screech resonates from the bottom of the gully. It sounds like nothing I've ever heard before in my life, and I have heard all the native animals' cries. Some of them are actually really messed up, you'd be surprised. I know that all that is down there is a big-ass creek, and it's hard to traverse those kind of scrub and cliff areas. The scream ends up sounding like those Bigfoot screams from YouTube or whatever the hell kind of thing, only whatever it is sounds to be small or like younger. We stop in a clearing and my friends ask me what the hell that was. All I can do is shrug it off as I feel my adrenaline cranking through my body, and I'm just sitting there trying to play it cool. My friend gets the great idea to do some wood knocks to see if it will respond. 3 great knocks echo through the gully. Another scream, but this one is deeper and much closer. He knocks again. There's silence for about 5 minutes. Then to the left of us, about 3 meters away in the scrub, I hear something grunt. It sounds like a gorilla. Now to the right of us, there's something moving in the scrub. Whatever they are, they have us surrounded. My survival instincts are screaming at me by this stage, and I know I can't show any weakness. It's really dark out by this point. Without saying anything, we all start walking back up the track, and we hear the things following us the whole way. Finally, we get to my car. We get in, and all of us are shaking. I'm about to say something, but I turn on my car lights, and right in front of us are 4 sets of eyes staring straight at us, reflecting like cat's eyes in the headlights. These things are big and staring straight at us, and I think, oh God. I reverse and speed out of there while my friends are swearing and yelling. To this day, they refuse to go back there. And of course, after that incident, no one in my family actually believed me except my sister and my girlfriend. My girl is pretty much kind of a hippie druid type and loves animals, nature, and all that stuff. I bring up the idea of taking her to the trail to show her that the Yowies exist. She's hesitant at first, but agrees when I say that we'll go during the day. So we end up going to the trail, but decide to walk into the scrub rather than just down into the gully. I don't want to stumble into like a baby and piss them all off again. This time though, we're just walking and talking and genuinely actually enjoying ourselves. And then that feeling returns, that feeling of being watched. But it doesn't feel as threatening this time. My girlfriend asks if I can feel something watching us, and I say, definitely, yep. So we keep walking and talking, but now I can hear something following us quietly in the bushes. We finally decide to head back. As we turn around, there's a loud knock from just a few meters away. We freeze in place, not knowing what to do. Then we hear 3 loud knocks from deep within the gully. Well, I guess it's time to leave. We're about to walk away when I decide to give them one last gift. I pull out some fruit from my backpack and put it down on the track, and scan the bushes for movement, and I can't see anything really. So we start heading back to my car, and I decide to have one last look. I turn around to see if I can see anything this time, and nothing. And I think, wait a minute, where's the fruit that I just put there? I nudge my girlfriend and she turns around and gasps. We make it back to the car, and just as we are about to leave, a deep scream comes from down within the gully. I haven't gone back since then. I thought it'd be best not to invade their territory too much, if you know what I mean. So what'd you think of those stories? I hope you enjoyed them. I know I did, especially reading them. But anyways, let me know what you think. And if you liked the video, then remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I shall see you in the next one. Thank you for pulling up a stump. And yeah, catch you later.